Pressing commitments, we were not able to get into Masaka town on Thursday as planned. The plan was to complete the recce on Thursday afternoon as well as Friday morning, and then proceed to scrutineering on Friday afternoon. Given that we only arrived in Masaka on Friday afternoon, that meant that something had to give. I decided that I would ditch scrutineering, as I figured that it would be more important for us to get a glimpse of the stages. Masaka is lush and green, and visitors in the backdrop of the lake looks rather heavenly, when you look at it from the hilltops. It all looks rosy, quite literally, but when you get down beneath the tree line, okay, onto the Maram roads that connect the farmlands to the city, that's when you go, boy oh boy, it's anything but rosy. We made it through the first stage, right? But even that has had to be shortened to avoid the section at the beginning of the stage that is quite slippery. But then about 10 kilometers in, I came upon a spot at Butale that is quite, it is an uphill, it is steep, and it's covered in very loose brown soil that is going to be impossible to go up for very many if you get overnight rain, or even if it rains on the stages in the morning. Unfortunately, I panicked as I was going through it, so I was not able to take any pictures. I was just rushing to try and make it through. However, the vistas on top of the hill are out of this world, and the road condition on the descent from Butale into Butenzi, that is really good. The entire stage is very narrow, twisty roads, and boasts only a couple of flat out sections, which includes the descent into the FF near Kalinga. I decided to skip stage 2, which has now been split into, it will now be stages 2 and 3, and I went straight to stage 4 and the super special, which are both located at the Nabgawo Sand Beach. But on the way down, I came upon Mayad, Duncan Mubiru, and Jose Kamia, whose Ford Ranger wild track pickup was not wilding. Instead, it was leaning on a coffee tree, and the owner farmer was demanding 20,000 shillings before it gets moved. It did take more than 4 hours and a farm tractor to get the car out. So by the time we're done pulling that car out, it was almost 5 o'clock. We then proceeded to Nabgawo Sand Beach and managed to do the 11 kilometers stage, which looks straightforward at first. To be fair, there are no hidden rocks or roots or anything quite rough in there, but the track is cutting up pretty quickly. Already you could see very deep cuts in the surface, and those cuts actually keeping water. In the same location is the super special stage, so paying fans will be getting a 2-for-1 bundle. The super special stage is set within the gardens of a sand beach on a purpose-built track lined with trees. It is rather tight but in great condition and should serve a treat. We managed to see a bit less than half of the stages, as we were not able to go to Zimbabwe, and therefore I cannot give a very fair verdict in the circumstances. But of the little that we have been able to see, all I can say is all bets are off, and this is a case of survival of the luckiest. The first car gets into the stage 1 around 9:15 in the morning on Saturday, and will arrive at Nabgawo Sand Beach about an hour later. I expect some delays, but it will be all worth it. So see you in the morning.